All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and happy Life Insurance Awareness Month 2024. Welcome to the Alliance Group podcast, and we have the specialist of special guests, Alliance Group CEO and President, Mr. Lee Duncan, here to discuss some Life Insurance Awareness Month with me today. Mr. Duncan, how's it going?
Very good. Happy to be here and really excited to talk about life insurance.
Well, I mean, we were about to start this podcast, and Lee was like, we should be able to probably talk about this for a while without a problem, right? I was like, yeah. It is a bit, it is obviously a subject near and dear to our hearts. And September every year, Lee, is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And actually, you just brought this up. I didn't realize this before the podcast.
It's the 20th year.
The 20th year of Life Insurance Awareness Month. First of all, Lee, I want to kick it off this way first. Why do we need an awareness month to talk about life insurance? I mean, it's obvious you and I, we love life insurance. We talk about it all day, every day. I love Life Insurance Awareness Month because it gives us that opportunity to discuss it. But it also, I just wish everybody would just be more mindful about life insurance. Kind of that thing that really, ideally, you don't need to be thinking about all the time. You need to sit down one time with a professional that you trust, put the protection in place that you need, and then you can go back to not thinking about it for a while until it's time to review and renew, possibly.
Awareness is key for many different reasons. One, just to get it top of mind, right? So it gives us an opportunity to market. Obviously, it gives Life Insurance Awareness Month, the people at Life Foundation, an opportunity to market, and all of our insurance companies. Mm-hmm. And it's a 1 month a year that they're really pushing out a lot of content and really educating people on the life insurance they need to have, how much they need to have, what kind they need to have, and all the different things that kind of come along with it,
right?
And what it is,
right? And a lot of people, you think of Life Insurance Awareness Month. The first thing, of course, you think that is for people who don't have life insurance and need to think about life insurance, which is very true. We definitely want those people to be thinking about and aware of life insurance during Life Insurance Awareness Month. But very crucially, I think it's also important for people who do have life insurance to remind them to think about their coverage and be like, oh, maybe I should reach out to my agent, and haven't thought about or reviewed my life insurance in 2 or 3 or 5 or even more years. Things have changed since then, right? Maybe I'm earning more money now. Maybe I had more children or got divorced or got married or bought a new house. Things change, right, Lee, as we go through our lives. And as our financial means and situations change, our life insurance needs to change as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some people start smaller with a simple term policy to protect their wife, but then they have kids, and then they may start a business, or things change in people's lives. And you mentioned earlier about the awareness, and I think it is key for people that do have policies as well to bring them top of mind and be like, hey, is that thing that I bought 5 years ago, is it still enough?
Right.
Is the beneficiary accurate? And I actually had a situation a couple of weeks ago where dealing with a family that thought they were the beneficiary, but it was actually the ex-wife, and the husband the ex-husband had never updated the beneficiary. Hadn't thought about it, right? So it's that awareness of that policy. It is something that you need to do, put in place, but it needs to be dusted off every now and then as well, and make sure that it's still accomplishing the same goals that you wanted it to accomplish.
Absolutely. And, in some cases, it's possible that maybe there's new features on life insurance that weren't around when you put your policy in place. Obviously, we at Alliance Group, we love Living Benefits Life Insurance, the new kind of life insurance that you don't have to die to use. And those policies come with features that weren't around, 25, 30 years ago when some of these life insurance policies might be in place. So point being there is that it's not just about reviewing, but in some cases there might be a product with new features that might be able to help you. So just a good idea in general. Yes, of course, Life Insurance Awareness Month is great for people who don't have life insurance or have been putting off that conversation, but also for all of us who do own life insurance. It's a reminder for us to review what we have, sit down with your life insurance professional, take that 30 minutes to an hour out of your life to make sure that you have what you need, that it's working the way that it should for you, and that you have enough coverage in place to do the things that you want it to be doing.
Yep. And still as well, there's it's an astonishing number. There's over 100 million people in the United States that don't own any life insurance.
it's too high of a number, but it obviously represents opportunity for those people to right the ship and get that coverage in place. But also, we have a lot of life insurance agents who are watching this. It obviously represents opportunity for us as well to protect those families and to have those conversations. And Life Insurance Awareness Month is an excellent way to start those conversations, which is why we love it so much. So, Lee, I thought this would be kind of a fun little activity. So as we talk about life insurance, the importance of life insurance, why we personally own life insurance. So I asked you to do this. I hope you did your homework to put together, and I did the same, our top 5 reasons for why we personally, Lee Duncan and Samuel Howe, why we own life insurance, why we buy and own and pay for life insurance every month. So you and I are going to go through our top 5 reasons that we own.
Top 5 all at once, or
no.
one at a time?
I'm going to start with my number 1.
Okay, your number 1.
Then we'll discuss.
Oh, we had to put them in order?
That's right. That's
man.
right.
All right, I got it.
You didn't read the homework assignment. All right, that's fine. So my number 1 reason, I'll go first. My number 1 reason is love. I own life insurance because I have a wife, Dawn, and my 2 little boys, Rowan and Crosby. I love them. I would do anything for them. And that really is, I think, and we say this all the time, I think life insurance is a loving thing that you do.
Absolutely.
The decision to put life insurance in place is first and foremost because there are people that you love, that you care about, that you want to protect. And of course, I don't think anything is going to happen to me. I try to do all the right things in my life to make sure that I'm going to be around for a very long time for them. But I want them to know that I love them, and I want to make sure that they're taken care of. God forbid if anything does happen to me, and that is done from a place of love. And
yeah.
I think that's why most people put their life insurance policies in place.
Life insurance is love insurance.
It is love insurance. There you go.
I didn't go with love, but it's the same thing. It's for my family. So my number 1 is to protect the hopes and dreams of my family, from college to weddings to, if the girls wanted to start their own business at some point in time in the future, and just make sure that all opportunities are there for them if I'm not here.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very, very similar reason, number 1. And that is, I think that kind of is an overarching thing with life insurance. As I said, it starts with love. Mm-hmm. And I think Steve Walther always says this all the time. If you have a client and you can't convince them to put life insurance in place to protect their families, if they don't see value in that, just move on to the next person. Because I think it does have to start from a loving place. My reason number 2, I'm going to mention peace of mind twice, but this is specifically death benefit, peace of mind. It's kind of separate from the love thing. This is almost a selfish thing. It gives me peace of mind knowing that my family will be taken care of. I don't have to worry. If I didn't have life insurance in place, I don't know. I might be, I've always had life insurance in place when I've had a family, but I can't imagine having a family and not having life insurance in place. And then having that thought, what would happen if I passed away tomorrow? What would happen to my wife and kids? How would they get by? I don't have to worry about that. And life insurance takes that away from me. I have that peace of mind knowing from just a strictly death benefit perspective, not counting living benefits, which I'll talk about separately on a separate point. But I know that God forbid something happens to me, my family's going to be taken care of, and I don't have to worry about that because I know for a fact exactly how much money will be delivered to them if, God forbid, I pass away, and they're going to be just fine forever.
Yep.
So that's my reason number 2.
So my reason number 2 applies to somebody that owns a business, and it's the second family. So we talked about earlier my first family, mm-hmm. my wife and my 2 daughters, but sometimes just as much the family in the office is they're exactly. I mean, I'm not just trying to get overly sappy, but it's true. I mean, these individuals, these employees, and our agents, our staff, our insurance companies, they're at risk if something were to happen to me.
Yep.
Every single one of them, and I know that as a business owner, as someone that's running a company, and so having that protection in place to cover debts that we have outstanding, but also just regular key person insurance. There's a lot of staff that would have to be hired to do what I do on a daily basis, mm-hmm. and that takes money. That takes a lot of different things, and life insurance can provide that to this business. And more so than any reserves that I would accumulate inside the business, life insurance comes into play. So a large amount of the life insurance that I actually own is owned through the various businesses that I own.
Wow. You know, that's it's first of all, it's very touching that you know you think of us that way, and I 100% agree. I mean, we would be Alliance Group, and all of our employees would be in a very bad place if Lee Duncan weren't around. But I'm really glad that you brought that up, Lee, because we spend a lot of time talking about life insurance, especially during Life Insurance Awareness Month. We automatically focus on family. But business insurance is a huge part of what we do. And the benefits that life insurance can bring to a business are absolutely massive when it comes to, like you were talking about, key person insurance, buy-sell insurance. Life insurance has many, many solutions that it can provide to do a lot of the things for a small business that it does for a family, right?
Absolutely.
And you can just take the word family and replace it with business in many of those scenarios. So I'm really glad that you brought up small businesses on your list of reasons, or business insurance in general. So number three reason I own life insurance is it's financially smart. I see it as a truly financially savvy move. There's a reason that the wealthiest people throughout American history are the largest owners of life insurance. For me, it's not only a financially smart move, but you can think of it, you don't have to be that savvy to just think about what you and I are doing and what all of our viewers are doing, for their families every day. Is I'm trying to build this thing, right? And I wake up, I go to work, I try to earn income, I work hard. I'm trying to build this thing, this sandcastle, right? This awesome financial future for my family. And I go to work building that every single day. And I cannot understand why anybody wouldn't be able to see that if you're trying to build this thing, but you don't have a foundation of life insurance protecting it, it is vulnerable from, if you think of it as a sandcastle, right? A wave can come and knock that whole thing over if you don't have that protection in place. I mean, if I did not have life insurance and I passed away and all of my income were gone, this entire thing that I'm building just gets wiped out. It's going to get wiped out in, there's no more income. There's going to be debts. It's going to be a financial mess, and everything I worked so hard to provide for my family would be gone. Why would I not invest, a few $100 in a life insurance policy or several policies every month to protect that thing that I'm trying to build? It's financially smart. And it just makes sense to protect this entire thing that you're trying to build with a layer of life insurance as your foundation.
Yep, I completely agree. And I heard it put one way, that life insurance for your family is that future retirement until you get there. And so what you're talking about is like building up that financial, that nest egg, right? That you can live on for the rest of your life. Well, if you don't make it there, right? So if you don't have the last 20 years of those income earning years, the life insurance, the death benefit can replace that. Right.
It self-fulfilling kind of plan, right? I mean, because let's say I was trying to save $5 million before retirement, and I'm only at 500,000, right? or $1 million or something like that. But I've got this $5 million death benefit policy, right? So if I survive and I build that $5 million sandcastle, great, I won the game. But if I die at 500,000 and I have a $5 million life insurance policy, guess what? It automatically fulfills that $5 million dream. So that's my reason number three. It's just financially smart.
It is financially smart. Mine, my number three is living benefits. So our company is built on living benefits, and that if you've got the old kind of life insurance that only pays out in the event of death, you got the wrong stuff, right?
That's right. You said it a few times.
I own max policies with every insurance company that we represent that has living benefits. Why do I do that? So that instead of only having $1 million of living benefits, I've got $4 or $5 million of living benefits, and spreading that out between all the different carriers. Mm-hmm. So whether that's, once again, personally owned or company owned, making sure that I have the most living benefits that I can. So in the event that something were to happen to me, that I've got that protection in place.
Right. New kind of life insurance you don't have to die to use, right? And those living benefits now come, at least the Alliance Group, but all of our carriers with that life insurance policy. We've been talking about death benefit this whole time, but also living benefits come. That's my reason number 4, actually. Living benefits, peace of mind. So I talked about death benefit, peace of mind earlier. I kind of consider these two separate things. I've got that death benefit, peace of mind. If I die, my family's going to be financially taken care of forever. That is one peace of mind that I get from my living benefits life insurance policies. But I also have this living benefits peace of mind, which is, to be honest, a little more, I don't want to say selfish, but it's more for me. I have this life insurance protecting my family. Yes, I have protecting my family, protecting my sandcastle, right? But I also have living benefits. So God forbid I don't die, but I get cancer, heart attack, stroke. I need a major organ transplant, blindness, paralysis, chronic illness. If one of those things happens to me, life tends to throw us curveballs all the time. Like we've seen it happen a million times. But I'm going to have that living benefits in place. I know that if I get a cancer diagnosis tomorrow, or if, somebody hits me in Atlanta traffic on the way home and I'm left in a coma, I know for a fact that's still going to suck. It's not going to be fun, but I am going to have, through my coverage, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars delivered to me tax-free in my hands. And I'm going to be able to navigate that situation. However, I'm going to be able to pay for whatever treatment I need. I'm going to be able to replace my income while I'm taking all the time I need to recover. I'm not going to be rushing back to work so that I can keep providing an income for my family. I know that I'm going to be okay because I've done the planning and made the decisions and put the things in place that are going to make me okay. And that peace of mind coming from the living benefits is my reason number 4, a huge reason that I love owning life insurance.
So my 4 went back to the first policy that I bought, and this was before kids. This was before marriage. I was actually dating Amy at the time, but I was not married to her. I was not engaged. But the first policy I bought, it was kind of one of those things where if I'm going to go sell this, I think I need to own it. Mm-hmm. And
practice what you preach.
Practice what I preach. Absolutely. So that was the first policy that I bought. I was 23 years old, male, no kids, literally the hardest person to sell, right? That's who I was. I mean, even living benefits at the time. I'm 23 years old. I'm fine.
Superman.
Right? Right? So, but buying that first policy, going back to that and thinking about that was literally the first policy that I sold was a policy to myself and making sure that if I'm going to go out there and talk to families and businesses about this, that I need to own it myself, because I don't want to be in that situation where they turn to me and say, hey, do you own this too? And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there's probably one client that I have that owns more life insurance than I do, the personal client.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so I take it as, was that a cash value life insurance policy at that age, or were you?
It was. Yeah. We didn't have term with living benefits way back when.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 2003. It was all permanent.
Back in my day.
Back in my day. And I had to do a mouse swab. That was the other thing.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Oh my goodness. Life insurance industry's come a long way.
It has.
In the past 21 years. That's actually, it leads into my reason number 5, which is cash value and tax-free retirement. That's another reason that I own the life insurance I own, that I love. I have a very similar story. I bought my first policy when I was 26. I wasn't even working in the life insurance industry yet. Peter Goldfein, actually, our director of digital marketing, is my brother-in-law, and he was working here already with you and sold me an IUL. And I educated myself about it. And even as a 26-year-old single, I didn't even have a girlfriend at the time. Like, I was very single, very young. Family was a distant thing for me. But I saw the value in that cash value accumulation and in tax-free retirement, and in putting the power of compound interest to work for me as early as possible. Put as much as I could into an IUL. I think I could afford $150 a month at the time, and just letting that work its magic over time. And at the same time, it was providing me permanent life insurance, which I didn't care about at the time at all. I was only worried about the cash value. But now that we are, what are we? How old am I? Or like 15 years later, let's say, I love that permanent life insurance aspect of it, because now I've got a nice little chunk of my coverage that is permanent. That cash value has grown. It's on its way for I've increased my my premiums into that. So I'm my cash value has grown really nicely since then, and I absolutely love my max funded IUL that I set up.
Perfect. So my number 5 is basically assets on the balance sheet. from the company-owned insurance that that the various companies that I owns on my life, and other individuals as well. And so those are assets on the balance sheet. They're also assets on my personal balance sheet as well. Kind of going back to what you're saying on the cash accumulation and having access to that money. And I've actually used it over time. As one of my first loans that I took out of my policy was actually to do a home renovation at our house in Duluth.
I remember that.
So took out, I think it was $15,000 out of the policy, and instead of going to the bank, I took it out of the policy and then did it all, and then eventually paid it back.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it is fantastic. All the things we can do with life insurance. So this has been Lee and Sam's top 5 reasons that we own life insurance, and I love that discussion, Lee, and going through that, because there really are myriad reasons why people should think about owning life insurance. And it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But again, I think it all comes back to that first reason, and we worded it different ways. But it comes down and it starts with love. Life insurance is a loving thing that you do for the people that you love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, we talked, life insurance is love insurance, and it's very much not a need sell. We do needs analysis with our clients and help determine how much they quote unquote need, but it's not a need thing; it's a want. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's what do you want to happen if you're not there?
Yep.
And what do you want to be delivered to your family if you're not there? What do you want to be delivered to your business if you're not there?
Absolutely, yeah. I've said that before. I say it in trainings all the time. I think that we overuse the word need when it comes to life insurance, because the very word need signifies like some bare minimum amount, right? But I don't want the bare minimum for my family. I don't want them to scrape by if I'm not around. It really becomes, what do you want to happen? And if you're, for everyone, but especially if you're young and healthy, you can truly you can build whatever future you want for your family through life insurance. What do you want to happen to your family? Do you want them to continue their current way of life? Many times that is the answer. Sometimes you might want to, leave them with the life that you wanted them to have, the one that you were working to build for them, right? So it's awesome. And then, of course, you bring in the living benefits as well. And again, I'm the most passionate person, maybe second to the gentleman to my left.
We're close. 1A, 1B.
1A, 1B. You won't find anyone more passionate about living benefits than us. We have simply seen too many people get too much money in their hands at the most difficult time in their life for us not to be 100% passionate and convinced that every single American needs to own living benefits.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate it every day. One
thing that I think we talked about this last Life Insurance Awareness Month as well, but it keeps being something that comes up. LIMRA and Life Happens, they put together these life insurance reports every year. And this thing that keeps coming up is the number one reason that people say that they don't have life insurance in place or haven't put life insurance in place yet is because they think it's too expensive, right? And the numbers are actually that 72%, I believe, of people who say that it's too expensive overestimate the cost by, in some cases, as much as 40-50%. Why do so many people overestimate the cost of life insurance?
I don't know. I think sometimes it comes down to that's what their dad said, and that's what their uncle said. They just heard it, and they that's not a good investment.
Right.
We're not talking about investment. We're talking about transferring risk.
Right.
So the I think it's kind of that thing that's built in, and for some reason our industry's gotten a bad name, and I think one of the jobs that we have on our shoulders is to do the right thing and make sure that the products that we're selling are great products and servicing those clients and businesses out there. But it really I think it's a lack of education, which goes back to the reason why we have the appreciation or the this month, right? This awareness month.
Yep. And you brought something up there. You talked about transferring risk. I want you to go back to that for somebody who doesn't understand what you just said. Life insurance is about transferring risk. What do you mean by that?
It's funny that this actually just happened earlier this week. I was in the car, and my oldest Lillian, she likes to ask me questions, and she says, "Dad, what is life insurance?" And I was like,
Whoa.
That's a really good question. And I've got to really think about what the answer is that I give you. And not because I don't know what it is, but because I want to be able to articulate this to a 10-year-old, right? So that she can understand it, right?
Yeah.
And
that's what they say in marketing is you should be talking to like a fifth grader, basically.
Right. So, so I went on to have a conversation with her and say that, life insurance is a contract with you and a company where you're taking and transferring a risk from yourself that you're self-insuring to them in the event that you were to pass away. So that if you were to pass away, your family gets a death benefit that can take care of debts, that can cover replacing income or, keeping your business running. And that's the essence of what life insurance is. It's me paying a small premium to that insurance company for a contract that says that if I pass away, they're going to pay my family a death benefit, my beneficiary a death benefit.
It makes perfect sense. So I'm a family guy, right? And right now I have no life insurance. So all of the financial risk that is going to happen if I pass away, it's all on my family right now. My family's going to pay that price. And that price is going to be financial chaos and possible financial ruin. All that risk is right now on my family because I don't have life insurance. But I can take this premium and I can give it to you, Mr. Life Insurance Company. And now I transfer that risk off my family's shoulders and I put it on yours. So now, same guy, but if I pass away, that financial burden for providing for my family and that risk has been transferred to a life insurance company. And now they're the ones with that risk. And if I pass away, they're the ones that are going to pay, not me and my family.
Yep. And I went on to explain to her, and then she kind of lost me, and she's like, I don't understand this.
All right, never mind.
It's like the life insurance companies can't just do one-offs, right? So how they're able to do it is the law of large numbers, right? So it's not one 40-year-old buying a $1 million policy. It's 1,000 or 10,000 40-year-olds buying that $1 million policy. And what I will tell you is actuaries are very smart at the insurance companies. They know to a percentage of how many people that are age 40 or age 45, whatever you want to look at.
In that 10,000 person group.
Of how many are going to die. And they don't know which ones, right? So, but they know the exact percentage based on actuarial numbers over a large period of time, over a large number of people. So they can then price out how much premium each one of these people have to be paying to be able to accumulate enough assets to pay those death benefits for those individuals.
There you go.
Yeah.
Actuaries are very smart. You ever meet one, they might not be like the most personality-filled person, but you can rest assured that they're better at math than you are.
Don't play fantasy football with them.
He sounds like he's speaking from experience.
I am speaking from experience.
All right, so a few more numbers that I wanted to discuss as we're talking about Life Insurance Awareness Month. There were a couple that kind of jumped out at me this year, Lee. We talked about only 51% of customers report on life insurance. 55% of those 51% of people that do have life insurance, by the way, 49% don't have life insurance.
Right.
Crazy. But of the ones that do own it, 55% have their own coverage only, 25% have it through work only, and then 19% have it through both, which is great. Those 25% who have their life insurance through work only, those are the people that I like to talk to because, I'll let you kind of get in on this, Lee. Why is it usually not a great idea to rely on life insurance company that's coming through your work as, oh, I've got life insurance, it's through my work, I'm covered, I don't need to have this life insurance discussion with anybody?
Unless you own the business, you should have it outside of work, and it comes down to control and really just options. You know, you don't want to have to stay at a job because you need the life insurance, right?
Right.
That shouldn't be a factor, right?
Right.
But the ultimately the control is of that business owner who is putting those benefits in place. They could take them away, right? So the other thing that kind of comes along with it is that, and especially in today's world, people are changing jobs so much, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't, what if that next job doesn't offer it or something along those lines? In my opinion, an individual, especially if they have a family and kids, they should and need to own a policy outside of work.
Their own life insurance. You should own your family's life insurance. Your family needs to be protected. That is your responsibility to do that. The way I always thought about it, there's actually a few things we can go into here. The way I always thought about it is you should own that. And then whatever comes through work should be like
Gravy.
Gravy.
Yeah.
Cherry on top. This is something extra that your work is going to do for you as a benefit, which is what it really is. It's an added benefit of working there, because if you choose to leave that job, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Maybe you choose to leave that job because you have a better opportunity. And as you said, that new employer doesn't have life insurance coverage as part of their benefits plan. Well, now you're uninsured, right? And now, maybe you're 55 years old or something, and you have to
Can
go
you get
find
it then?
Exactly.
Right? So the best time to buy insurance is when you can get it.
Right. Or that job might leave you. You might, God forbid, get laid off or fired. And now you're in a really bad scenario because you're without life insurance and without income, right? But it's not just that. It's also the fact, Lee, that even if you do have life insurance through work, it's typically not enough.
It's not enough, right? Yeah. So I think it provides that 25% that you're talking about, a false sense of security.
Absolutely.
They got $50,000, $100,000 of insurance, and they're making $100, $150 a year. It was like, you don't plan on being dead very long if that's all you got.
You plan on being dead for roughly 6 months, or we can cover you for that much. So this is all why, it's very tempting for people, because they think like health insurance. Oh, check, I got health insurance. It comes through work. Great, I'm good, right? That's not really the way life insurance works. You have some life insurance through work. You don't necessarily have as much life insurance as you need through work. And then the big thing, like we talked about, you don't own that life insurance, right? That's through your work, and it can leave you, whether you lose your job or you move jobs, it can leave you. So always best to own what you need and let work add whatever they're going to add as a cherry on top if something happens to you while you're working for them. Own your own life insurance. Let what comes through work be a bonus. All right.
100%.
100%. So we talked about life insurance being too expensive. This is the thing that shocked me, though, Lee, is that I read these stats. I had to read them again, because it just doesn't, with everything else that's going on in our country when it comes to women becoming financially empowered. And we do amazing things at Alliance Group and Five Rings Financial, especially just all these wonderful stories about women really stepping into their financial power. And that seems to be the trend going on everywhere. I was shocked to see these stats, which is women are less likely than men to own life insurance. 46% of women in 2024 own life insurance, as opposed to 57% of men. And that gap between 46 and 57, that 11% gap, is actually the largest it's been in the last 14 years. Does that surprise you, Lee?
It's actually very surprising. I don't get it.
I almost don't believe it.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that far, but I don't get it. But you're right. There's been a lot of financial education towards women and helping there within our organization, outside of our organization. And I think that in today's world that there's been it's not the traditional that where our family grew up, where
right.
There was a husband that was bringing in the income, and the wife was there and taking care of the family. That doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Right.
Very rarely anyway. It's just as likely that now that the woman brings home the bacon and the husband stays home. But most likely, most families are dual income families now.
Yes, exactly. So you would want to protect both of those incomes, right? That's what I would think. Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand why the gap has grown.
Yeah,
that's the part of the stat there that is surprising.
Well, it could be. I mean, honestly, it could be life insurance agents not doing their jobs properly, or because the first thing I'm thinking of is that maybe it's one of those situations where you're going to buy life insurance and you decide, oh, we don't need two policies. Let's just keep costs down and we'll just insure one of them, right? And I'm not sure, but very, very important. Number one, of course, as you said, if you have two incomes,
you need to protect both incomes.
I mean, unless you want, you're either rolling the dice that hopefully it's the one that's covered that something happens to. Surely people can't think that they can just absorb the cost of one of their incomes being gone. That doesn't make sense. So yes, absolutely, you should have for anyone, for both parents. If both parents are earning an income, both husband and wife or both spouses need to be covered with life insurance. Any income needs to be covered with life insurance. But then going back to what you were talking about, in the increasingly rare scenario that there is one person who's working, it's a one income family, and the other staying at home. Lee, what is the importance? Because it's very tempting, I think, also for people to think, oh, well, my husband stays at home and I work, so we only need life insurance on me because he doesn't generate any income. What is the problem with that line of thinking?
I actually had this conversation with a client yesterday where it's a business owner guy that's has a very, very successful business. And it came down to, asking about, he's doing insurance for himself, both personally and through the business, but came down to talking about insurance for his spouse, who's a stay-at-home mom. Mm. And he's like, well, we don't need any there. I mean, if some, we're not replacing any income, but he's only thinking about it from one way. But this guy's got 5 kids. She's running those 5 kids to everything. And
she's the executive of that household.
Yes, exactly. and doing everything all up and down the line. There's cost associated with that if she's not there. And so that what I tried to go into is like thinking about all the different things that she does in that house, from the Uber driver, right, to I mean, you just start stacking them up and how much that would actually cost if she's not there.
Oh my gosh!
And making sure that you have the ability to once again keep your family in that same situation if one of the parents were to pass away.
Right. Yeah. Just start adding up the costs about, okay, I'm going to have to hire someone to come in and do meal prep, run the kids all over the place, go to, baseball practices and soccer games and doctor's appointments and take care of the house, clean, cooking, cleaning, all of these things that a stay-at-home parent does. If you start, and actually Eric Ojeda did a Wednesday webinar a while back where he actually went and added these costs up, and you're talking about 6 figures. And that is something that will need to be replaced. All those things will need to be paid for if that stay-at-home parent is there. So I'm a true believer that I think both spouses should be covered in almost every scenario.
Yep. And then the other thing that, kind of going back to what we do, selling living benefits, the other thing that I was able to point out to him is that she would have all those living benefits that we talked about as well. Mm-hmm. And I know you, Mr. Business Owner, if your wife was diagnosed with cancer and you were faced with the challenges of that and all the treatment options, money's not an option, right? Mm-hmm. So and that's how I would be with my family is like, don't even put that in front of me. I want to know what is the best treatment for this situation at the best place in the best way, mm-hmm. and we'll figure out everything else. Right. And so these living benefits allow you to open up the door and have those options.
But not only that, Lee, you say money would not be an object. Of course, best treatment, best everything. You would also be, as the breadwinner, stepping away from your business a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. You would be distracted. You would be going and helping her, driving her to her appointments. Your mind wouldn't be, right? So there could, depending on what you're doing for a living, you might be missing work or not in the business, right? So these impacts are just something that, again, it comes back to the same sort of theme where why not lay down that level, that layer of protection for pennies on the dollar? It can address so many different things that could happen, and you'll feel so much better in so many different ways if you put your head down at night next to your spouse with your beautiful family in your nice, beautiful, safe house, and know that you've done the work that it takes to protect them and to protect everything that you've worked so hard to build.
Absolutely.
We love Life Insurance Awareness Month. And Lee, this has been an awesome conversation. Obviously at Alliance Group, we are going to be posting, follow us on socials. We're going to be posting things throughout the month of September when it comes to stats, different educational videos and things that people can use to educate themselves about life insurance and why it is so, so important to own, not just life insurance, but life insurance with living benefits, right, Lee?
That's right.
All right.
The best guy.
Thank you guys so much. Happy Life Insurance Awareness Month to all of you. Get protected. Get the knowledge you need. and get these policies in place for the people and the things that you love the most.
Listen to this interview and more on the Alliance Group podcast.